Welcome back to another episode of the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast. I am your host, Snoogs, and joining me on deck tonight is my ever-vigilant co-host, Grejio and Lucas, helping to get us through the top news and gaming stories from the week. So sit back, relax, and get ready for episode 314.
Whoa, this is the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast, the show with irreverent live listeners, raging hosts, and eventually conversation about the best and the worst of the video games industry. So, all that you're required to do now is to pick up your poison of choice. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst, and above all, enjoy the show.
Thanks, everyone, for joining in. Before we get started, Lucas, Grejio, how are you, boys?
Very good, thank you. I'm well rested.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I had a nap this afternoon and had one of the worst dreams ever. Now, I don't know if we've got any arachnophobes listening, but it was a dream with spiders crawling all over me. It was the worst. When I woke up, I was happy to get the hell out of bed and go away. It was disgusting. But anyway, I did have a good nap. I'm ready to and raring to go for tonight's show.
Cool. I had a very strange dream the other day.
Oh yeah.
It was if it's it was not one of them.
Editing Lucas, get ready.
The dam burst, but we kind of just made the best of it and had a cruise liner going through Rudy Hill.
Is that innuendo? Are you speaking literally?
No, I'm speaking literally.
We had Rudy Hill burst dams. I'm like, wow.
Well, only you would go there. But then again, you don't really go outside of the area.
I got my vitamin D today. I got my 60 seconds of sunlight.
You walked to the letterbox and back?
No, I didn't even go that far, actually. Was it 60 seconds or 60 minutes I needed? I don't know. Whatever. 60 seconds worked for me today.
One or the other. Good stuff. All right, boys. Well, before we get into it as well, a quick Happy Father's Day to you both.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you had fun over the weekend or last weekend by the time this goes live. Those in the chat, hope you had fun on Father's Day as well for all the dads out there. And I know we've got a new dad as well, which is pretty cool. So while we're going on about that, a shout out to the chat. We've got A10, we've got Kaz, Martikins, Radicus, Skrill, and all the way from the US of A, we've got the Star Wars. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're having fun. Thank you for joining us live. We're going to shout out to Az as well, because she's usually here, but she's too busy playing a terrible game to come and say g'day. So maybe next week. All right, let's jump into the show. We've got a bit in store for everyone this week, once again, including those damn Animals Crossing, the Konami Code, way too much Destiny, gaming for mental health, consoles getting close, and a few other bits and pieces in there as well. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yay!
This week in gaming, 1995. All the way back when things were so much more fun. Enjoyable doing what we do. PlayStation was released on the 9th of September in the US of A. So the very original PlayStation. So yeah, pretty much it was just it's the release for the original PlayStation. There's a few games that released this week as well, which was Ridge Racer, a couple of others. I can't remember. But I was more excited about PlayStation being released on the 9th because this is where my theory comes into account. So I think that on the 9th, we're going to get a bit of a surprise announcement from PlayStation, whether it be an announcement around a release window or pricing. So I reckon on the 9th, we'll hear something, whether it be, that actual information or details of when we'll hear that information, and then picking up a release date of the PS5 of the 3rd of December.
All right. Well, this is what I think. I think you've put more thought into the launch of the PlayStation 5 than Sony has.
Probably.
Because this is getting ridiculous. And no, Microsoft, you don't get a walk-up start for this one just because you've shown us your internals. We still don't even know how much either of them are. Sony is just a little bit more shy. I don't know what their story is. I'm actually predicting a delay. Shit PR is what's going on at the moment with both of those consoles. Too much hiding behind just silence, really. I don't think it's fair. We've been whinging and complaining for months because I think this is months overdue. But these things are getting really close to their supposed launch dates, and we still are in the dark.
Yeah.
Anyone who questions just how much people want to know this next bit of information, if they think that there's only a very small minority of us whinging about it, the fact that we don't have it, you know, we all want to plan how we're going to come up with, you know, $1,000 by Christmas that's just for us. It's not for the family or anything like that. But all you have to do is go on to any post that's done by Microsoft, that's done by Xbox or done by PlayStation, whether it be, you know, the local Australian ones or international ones, and the majority of the replies, one from PlayStation ANZ today was, you know, how are you tracking this morning? And it had someone lining up for a coffee. And then 90% of the replies were people saying, oh, yeah, we're just standing here waiting for, you know, a price, waiting for a release date. So, yeah, everyone wants to know. Hurry up.
Yeah, well, that's right. And then Nvidia comes along and goes, hey, here's our announcement and here's the price.
And the release date.
Yeah.
I have 100% transformed into a PC Master Race asshole, and I don't fucking care.
I enjoyed this story that I read. Was it this week or last week that PlayStation has decided to invite people in North America to pre-order.
Yes.
Without even knowing the price, just like, yeah, so you can. It's like a lottery. So I'm assuming there's going to be this level of they worried they're not going to have enough consoles at launch.
100%. I highly doubt that I'll be getting my hands on one at launch, so it doesn't really matter to me. I just want to know.
It's kind of the point of being here at right this moment. It's kind of what we do, is tell people this information. We don't have it, and that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, especially when you get certain people go, oh, yeah, look, you know some inside information. Have you got anything to tell me? No. This is not something I'd keep secret. It's something I want many people to know. Anyway, let's not one about that because we'll go on all night about it. Let's jump into some games that we've been playing this week, shall we?
Yes.
All right. The only person that's got new games is Lucas because he hasn't been here for a few weeks.
Oh, you guys haven't played anything new?
No, I've played plenty.
Oh,
it's just been recurring things. So I want to hear about Hellraid, the new DLC for Dying Light.
No worries. I'll tell you all about Dying Light. And in the meantime, you can pause whatever porn you've got downloading because you are like robotic as hell, like internet issue-y wise. But anyway, Dying Light Hellraid. Well, that released, I don't know, probably 2-3 weeks ago now. But I picked that up. It's a $15 expansion to the standard game, the game Dying Light. And it's kind of like a... Well, I wouldn't really call it a raid as such. I would sort of liken raids to be more like super duper hardcore, whereas Hellraid you can get through on your own without too much trouble. It's sort of mastering it that makes it a little bit harder, and then also bumping it up to nightmare difficulty makes it ridiculously hard. However, great piece of expansion for Dying Light. Actually, it actually might be me that's messing up with the audio because I'm getting red bars. Is anyone else getting red bars?
No.
Am
I
sounding funny to you guys?
Yeah, you're sounding off.
Okay, well, I'll take back that.
Because I thought it was really shitting itself because you're dropping as well.
Stand by. Am I sounding good?
Yeah, you're sounding good now.
You sound good.
Okay, I think Discord has sorted its shit out.
All right.
Yeah, it's still stable. Anyway, I don't remember where I was there before we had that sort of...
Well, to make it easier on the edit, do you want to just start with the Dying Light thing again?
No, I'm not starting again. Editing Lucas can eat a dick. It's your problem, buddy. Anyway.
Get up, future Luke. He's a sucker.
That's right. Yeah, he was a real asshole to you last week, Greg. So he can cop it. Have you listened to the show from last week?
No, not yet.
Don't. Anyway, so where was I? I was talking about Dying Light, and basically what it is Hellraid is a game that Techland were going to make, and I think even before they released Dying Light, and it's basically a RPG in the flavour of, I refer to it like Skyrim. Like there's skeletons and they do have sort of zombie-like things, but that's probably because that was easy. But it's more of a like a medieval kind of feel with like magic and all that sort of stuff. And Hellraid was a game that just was never released. It was like shelved. And I think what they've done here is they've gone, oh, well, we've got all these assets and these ideas for Hellraid. Let's release it, but as an expansion for Dying Light. And that's pretty much what they did. And it's not bad. It actually works really well with the Dying Light mechanics. Really cool expansion. If you love Dying Light, $15 for, that's Australian. So for the Star Wars who's listening, if he's a fan, it'll probably cost him $6, but it's really cheap for the amount of content that you get out of it. I got my first time trying to get through it, took me about 3 hours, so a couple of runs, and 3 hours out of a $15 purchase. I think that's pretty good.
That's pretty decent. So what sort of style? Like, is it a story thing? Because you said it was like a raid. Yeah, no, it's kind of Destiny-like with the story. There is kind of a story there, but it's not told. Yeah. It sort of has to be found. But it takes you about an hour to get through this. And what it is, you start at the top of a circular tower, and there are 3 pieces of a key that you have to pick up. And at the start, you then go through a door, and then you go down a few steps, and then you work your way around a couple of rooms that progressively fill with a shit ton of zombies and skeletons and, magic throwing beings and all that sort of stuff, and some mini bosses along the way. And then once you make it through that ring, you then come out the door back again to where you started, but the floor below, and then you collect a key. And then it's rinse and repeat. I think it's 3 or 4 levels. So you go downstairs and you go down this spiral collecting keys as you go. You get to the bottom, put the keys in, have a final fight and a boss fight sort of thing. And it's actually quite challenging. Put it on nightmare mode and you'll have nightmares. But it's just gritty, Dying Light fun, just chopping pieces, And it's got a new leveling system that you can get as well. So if you've maxed everything out, it gives you something else to work towards. You earn coins, which I found out last night because good old The Wraith, he Googled it because I was like, what are these coins for? You collect all these coins off dead bodies. And I'm like, but there's nowhere to buy anything. But what those coins are for, you go back to the normal game, and then you can use those coins at vendors to buy gear that you got in Hellraid. So that's the way of taking the super weapons that you get in Hellraid back into Haran. So that's how that works. It's a whole bunch of new content for a 4 or 5 year old game that just keeps getting supported because the love is there for it. So I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic, and I've had a really good time with it. No, good. Well, it sounds like $15 well spent.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
All right. I played some Call of Duty last night. I jumped back in.
Yes.
What would you say about my form just before you guys joined me? Well, even after you joined me, actually. I was streaming.
Do you want my? I can sum it up in one word if you want my input.
Sure, go for it.
How does rubbish sound?
Yeah.
Although to give you a sort of some insight into how the whole experience went, I would describe my performance as rubbish with maybe a little cherry on top that hasn't been touched by poo. So only just slightly better.
It was. I went into near-on rage mode and was swearing at everything and just was not playing well at all. So even to the point where I was cursing myself because I'd gotten to the point where I'd upped my sensitivity that high that was really good for me, even though it was, twitchy. And now I got to go and turn it all back down again and start again.
Oh, yeah, you've lost your sort of feel for it. You've got to get back into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the funny thing was last night when we're playing Domination and Radicus does not cap any points, and he's like, "Are we playing Domination?" And to add insult to injury, and it made me laugh even more, is he was the party leader. He chose the game types.
Oh, God.
Oh dear! But
it was just a randomized quick play. But
yeah, I know. He did.
It was good.
Yeah, he didn't exactly just choose it. It was just on random. But it was just funny that he was the party leader. Oh dear. But yeah, look, it's become a real custom thing for me now, and there's one of the main reasons why I'm really enjoying PC Master Race is that I no longer have to press and hold the PlayStation button or press in the Xbox home button and then go to close app. It's so easy to just hit Alt F4. I recommend PC Master Race based on the ability to Alt F4 games.
The fact that you've gotten to a point, and especially with COD, where you don't even tell us, you just disappear.
I didn't even rage. No, I didn't even let myself get to the point of rage. I just went, I'm starting to feel rage. Alt F4. Bye.
The round ended, and I'm like, where's Luke's score? Have you left the game? Oh, yeah, I'm done. I was like, look, I'm done as well. Come on.
I think I was already in the loading screen for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater when you realised I was gone. But old school, the disappointment when mobile phones came out, where you could no longer, when you had the shits with someone on the phone, you could like slam the phone down on the receiver, and that disappeared when mobile phones came out because you just like beep. And there was nothing to slam down on. Well, that was what consoles did. There was no, like, you couldn't just quickly exit a game. It sort of just dashboarded instead of the old days where you could just press the power button and it just switched it off. These days, it's a little bit trickier. It doesn't actually turn off. So PC for the win, Alt F4.
Alt F4. Gotta love it.
It's like hanging up the
phone. All right, mate. Good stuff. Well, you've already told us about Tony Hawk's. So you've been playing. It's 1 and 2, isn't it? The remake.
It is 1 and 2 included in the remake, and remake it is. It is exactly the same as the old game, kind of, but it's all completely remade. So the little things that I have picked up is that there are some abilities, because I've only started on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. I can't just skip straight to 2 or anything like that. I've got to do the first one first and then move on. It's like a bit of brain thing, you've got to be sequential. So anyway, I'm playing it and I realized that you can now do verts off, I think that's what they're called, a vert off a ramp, which is when you land and you...
At our age, we probably would vert off an amp.
you land off onto the ramp after, like the half pipe I'm talking about, when you've jumped, and you land and then you rotate the board 180 degrees and then you can go into a manual, which is when you're like balancing on your front 2 wheels or the rear 2 wheels.
It's about time a video game come out with a manual again.
Yeah. But I don't believe that you could do that in the first one, because I don't remember being able to chain combos across the ground. I don't think that was a thing originally in the first one. I think you had to only chain combos from jumping and grinding. I don't believe you could do the manuals across ground and the verts out of half pipes. But what they've done is they've added some of the features from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 into Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. And so now you can do the half pipe, do some tricks in the air, land, vert, manual, keep the combo going, jump, kickflip onto grind, kickflip or whatever, heel flip to keep it different so the score multiplier goes up, land and manual, so on and so forth, and get massive scores, which I don't believe was in the original first one. So that was really cool. Radicus is saying that there's also some moves from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 in it as well. I'll take his word for that. I don't know for sure. But yeah, so they've done things like that. So they've made it sort of a little bit more modern. However, to the layman that doesn't remember all of that stuff, it feels just like you're playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the original. The controls are tighter. The camera movements are a lot better. There was a lot less frustrating moments. I would dare say this is, and it's been done quite a few times now, but this is the best recreation and done faithfully to a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game. It's really fun. It looks fantastic and plays really good too. So yeah, I'm having a really good time with it. Unfortunately, it is exclusive to Epic Game Store on PC, which sucks, but it's available on, I think, is it on Switch? I don't think it's on Switch. Xbox and PlayStation and PC.
No, I don't think it is. Yeah.
But yeah, for the nostalgia is real. There's a lot of the original soundtracks when I first started it up for the first time and heard, I don't really know the name of the song, but there was a song that played and I'm like, oh my God, I remember this from the original. This is so good. So yeah, there's quite a few of the original tracks. Jerry was a race car driver from Primus. That's one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in there. And yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there. So it's a really great game. Oh, I must say that the maps, though, the tracks that I've done, although they're mostly the same as the original, they're not. They have changed some parts of the actual tracks. So the warehouse, the very first track of the first game, that feels like it's exactly the same. But you remember the school? Did you ever play the school one?
Yep.
Yeah, the back end of the school is different to what I remember, right, where it's just like there's a pool in a different spot and there's different things around. But it's I don't mind. It wasn't bad at all. It wasn't like, oh, this sucks. You know, it was still good, bright and colourful. Yep. Really good game. Yep.
Awesome. I never liked the original.
Don't buy this one then.
So I won't be buying this one.
No.
But I am so happy to see so many people that love the original absolutely loving this one. That's a great, it's a great indication that it's been done faithfully. You know, the things that needed to be upgraded have been upgraded.
Yeah.
I saw one of the guys, Skrill. I love how they've aged the skaters.
Yes, they look like they do now. That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, somebody might be able to answer this for me. Was Bam Margera in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, or was he only in one of the later ones?
I thought he was too.
I thought he was, but he's not.
I thought he was too. He's not in the lineup in this game, is he? From what I can tell.
He's not in it. So I'm pretty sure I would say that he wasn't in Underground, or if he was also in the first one or two, because I don't think I ever played Underground. And I remember playing as Bam Margera before I knew who he was, because I remember then when Jackass came out and he was in Jackass, I was like, hey, that's the guy from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. But he's probably not in it now, because if they upgraded him to look like what he looks now, he's probably too fat for a skateboard.
Well, yeah, he has been blood film. You're a robot then.
Oh, yeah, it's doing it again.
According to the wikis, he wasn't in either of them. So obviously we're having a Mandela moment.
Oh, he wasn't in either of them?
No, he wasn't in either of them. So it might have been 3. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't remember playing 3 as much, so I don't know.
Okay, editing Lucas jumping in here while the guys are actually trying to sort out their Discord connectivity issues. I'll just clarify, no, Bam Margera was not in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 or 2. He first debuted in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and was in a few after that. So I think I've managed to edit out the rest of the garbled mess for this recording. Let's get on with the show. Where were we?
I was just about to talk about good old Destiny 2.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't even need to be here for that.
No, you didn't. That's why I said I'll keep going, because Craig's still recording. I'm still stuck on playing quite a bit of Destiny 2. I have leveled up my armor for the Seasons of Arrival all the way to the final level. I have One piece of armor has got the little glowy thing happening on it. I don't know really what's the point of it. It just glows. It's the cape that the hunter wears. What's it? The cloak.
You just described RGB in my PC.
Yeah. It gives me 1,000% more DPS.
Yeah,
so
that's
I need
right.
to keep going. I've been going and just it seems to have just gotten to that point where I can switch my brain off and just go and do what I do. I still don't understand some of the base mechanics of Destiny. When
I don't think I ever understood it.
But just something as simple as everything in my inventory at the moment is above level 1050, like light level 1050, and there's not a lot of point to specifically designing your gear until you get to max light level, or at least closer to it. And yet 90% of the stuff that drops is useless because I can't roll it into anything to bring up the power. It doesn't roll to the full. Even if I start using that gear, I can't use it all the way through to give me special perks or anything. And I'm still getting stuff from the first, when Destiny come out originally, that's just now null and void. And
sounds to me
that's the loot system still.
You have to buy.
Yes.
There's that, but there also comes a point in Destiny where 90% of what you do on a weekly basis is not going to help your light level. You're doing it for some other reason, like you're grinding for materials or whatever else that you need.
This is what I'm doing at the moment. I'm not focusing on that light level or whatnot. I haven't gone in and doing specific things for clan or looking for people to run raids with or anything like that at the moment. I've just been going through and doing the end game triumphs, especially the stuff that sort of revolves around the Season of Arrivals. The Season of Arrivals goes from now until the next expansion comes out, and which is another 2 and a bit months or so.
Yep.
And so I'm just doing that. It's one of those things where I'm not pushing for a specific thing, but it's giving me an objective, if that makes sense, without having to go and buy the next lot of DLC. When the new expansion comes out, I'll have a look at it because I'm playing it on PC now as opposed to my PlayStation where I played it previously. And on the PlayStation, I have the first DLC, but on PC, it doesn't carry over. So you've got to go and buy it again, which is frustrating. That is what it is. But it's given me a sort of a nice thing to just switch off. I can play it. It looks gorgeous. I think I'm still in that honeymoon period of the gutsy PC running it. And, having a bit of fun with it. But, it is just doing those weekly things, doing strikes, going through it all.
Yeah, see those things, and they're not going to help. You need to be raiding, or you need to be doing clan stuff, or you need to be playing Crucible, and not just standard Crucible. You need to be playing Trials. Those are the things that really help.
Yeah, even getting to a point where I can actually get in to play Trials. I don't even know how to do that. None of it makes sense.
This is just me playing Destiny 2. I'm shooting things,
and that's pretty much what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah. No, you want to be a special kind of freak that want to be playing Trials.
Yeah,
it's the seventh circle of hell, quite frankly.
I do have to win 3 Trials games to upgrade one of my armor pieces to finish the season, but I can't even get into play a game of Trials, so I'm not too stressed about that. Luke, last game from you, mate. Darksiders Genesis.
Yeah, well, it's been probably a couple of weeks since I've actually touched this game, but it's been a couple of weeks since I've been on the show. But I wanted to mention it because it came out not too long ago, only about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's a very good departure from the previous games, whereas this one is like a isometric, kind of like Diablo. Now, I wouldn't put it on the same sort of tier as Diablo, because Diablo is like the ultimate, But this is actually a very good version of Darksiders. Now, I have liked the previous Darksiders games, but not loved them. Not to the point where I wanted to play through them completely. But I have started playing Genesis with Azrael. However, she's been letting me down, man. She's been off, cheating on me with these other people playing dinosaur games. We haven't gone back to it to finish it off. But this game, it's a little bit disappointing. It's only 2-player co-op, but you play as either War or what's the other dude? Oh, he kind of looks like
Pestilence.
Strife. That's who it is. Strife. So you play as either one of them. If you're playing single player, you can switch between the two, or if you are playing co-op, you can one is one, the other is the other. But then you can also do like a request to switch. So if you want to switch while you're playing, you can do that while you're mid-level. And it's actually quite a cool game. The only thing is, it was quite strange. There was a point where the difficulty just skyrocketed, and Az and I just kept getting our asses handed to us with this boss fight. And it was to the point one night where we just went, all right, let's not play this. We'll come back to it. We came back to it, and we just blitzed it. And it was really bizarre. We don't first go. We just sort of beat it. I don't know what the problem was, but anyway, that's the story how it goes. But I'm really looking forward to going back to it. What the fuck is A10 doing? That's just a person shitting constantly in Ark. What?
That reply though, that's the better one.
Yeah, I woke up for this. Star Wars is all the way from the States at 6 a.m. and he's looking at these kind of gifts. We warned that it was. We have told many times in the past, but anyway, I don't know. Maybe it is our fault. Maybe we sold it up a little bit too high. But either way, Darksiders Genesis is a really cool game. It's on Game Pass at the moment, so you can play it on your Xbox One or PC. And I recommend giving it a try if you like those Diablo-esque games. It's a light-on Diablo game, but I like it. I think it's really good. Got to get Az away from killing dinosaurs back to finish it with me.
Come on, Az, what are you doing?
Is she in here? Send her a message. No, she's not. She's not even listening to the podcast.
Not even listening. She's going to get her Splinter Agent removed.
I think. Yeah, that's definitely on the cards. Take that away from her because she gets all those benefits of nothing. But anyway,
all that stuff there. You're being demoted. Oh, Greg, how are you going with your build? Give us a quick update.
I do believe that we should be referring to him as Chipmunkio.
Chipmunkio.
Yeah, you're about to talk about Minecraft, right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, go ahead, Chipmunkio.
Okay. Yeah, just quickly, I've been working on the inside of my base predominantly, the subterranean part. It's almost all slabbed out, so I have a villager trading hall in there now, and yeah, so I finished the bottom of my pit, so the floor's now finished. So that was one thing off my list of things to do. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right, that's it for the games that we've been on this week.
Hey, Greg.
Yes.
Do you want to hear about why I'm calling you Chipmunkio?
I assume it has something to do with last week.
Yes.
I assume you've fucked with my voice.
I'm assuming, I haven't heard it yet, so I'm assuming this is what happens when you have too much time on your hands.
Well, yeah, I must have been feeling particularly well this day, and I've actually got it queued up.
Anything Lucas is a prick.
Yeah, he is. He was a massive arsehole last week, but I've queued it up to play too because I'm not too sure if you'll have the time to listen to the show in its entirety, but I've got it ready. I think I've got it set right, so you should be able to hear this.
Pause this week. That was fun.
Okay, so I've edited the next part, and I think it will make it go a little bit quicker and a ton more interesting. Sorry, Greg.
Just picking up bits and pieces, cars and stuff like that. Nothing special there. However, I finished the ground buildings for my base in Minecraft. So that's all now up and running. So now I'm starting to work on the subterranean part of the base, which is kind of, I put in some hours over the weekend, and it's really looking good. I'm really happy with it. So, so subterranean part, I actually made a to-do list on the back wall of my subterranean part of the base, because I was trying to keep track of everything I had to do. Vish who's the owner of the realm and who listens, hi Bish, listens on Sunday, go, oh my goodness, hi Bish, he came up and he looks at the last one and turns to me and says, what do you mean build a laser? And I went, we'll see. We'll see, don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I actually think that was appreciated by quite a few people.
That was quite funny, man. I give that to you.
Hence Chimp Monkey.
All right, well, we're out of the way. Let's check out what's that sound for this week.
Okay, all right. Now, you guys keep getting strung along for extra time because I'm away from the show and can't give you the answers. But so, what's that sound for 2 weeks ago? Was this one?
Yeah, that one.
Chipmunkio.
Yeah, so no one actually got that. I was really expecting. I said that there was a
because we didn't hear it.
What's that?
Didn't hear it.
We straight up didn't hear it.
Oh,
not that time.
yeah, that was the trick. Yeah, this one. Remember that one?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I said that there was a particular person that I thought might actually get that one, and that was Wraithy. I thought he was going to get it because he was talking to me. He's the reason why I thought of that game. He was talking to me only days before about how much he loved Jungle Strike.
Oh, yes.
That's what that one was. This is from Jungle Strike. But no, he didn't get it, so fail. All right, but anyway, we have another What's That Sound for this week. So if you guys are listening and you think you know what this sound is, then go across to our Discord channel and put it into the podcast section thing, text bit, and tell us. Hang on. The Wraith is saying, I think I said Urban Strike. No, you didn't. You didn't even come close. Not even close. All right. So this week's What's That Sound? Make sure you give us the answer if you think you know it. This one's a lot easier, guys. Surely someone's going to get it. All right, have a listen.
You want me to make my own rules? Rule number 1. You're going to spend the rest of your goddamn life in fucking agony.
All right. So I'm expecting... Oh, wow. We've got Radicus with GTA 5. The Wraith, who also said GTA 5. Kazakyle says Mario.
Mario 18 plus.
Skrill with Mia Khalifa porn. The Wraith with his shotgun approach saying Far Cry 3. Martikins is saying Agony. I don't know what A10 is saying. Again. What's again?
He wants to hear it again.
Oh, you want to hear it again? Is that what that means? Yeah. Not play again, please. Like, yeah, that might be a little bit more English. Come on, man. How old are you?
He's just sitting there going again.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say something that wouldn't fly in today's age, but all right, let's go.
You want me to make my own rules? Rule number 1. You're going to spend the rest of your goddamn life in fucking agony.
Oh, can you hear that noise at the end? That's him twisting a knife. Drake? What, as in like Hotline Bling or Call of Duty? No. Max Payne. Oh, Nathan Drake. Wow. I actually thought you guys would get this one. Sounds like Nathan Drake. No, it's not Ark. Oh, dear. All right, I'll play it one more time. Oh, Martikins comes in to save the day. It is. Well done. Wow. Hey, Kazar, too late, buddy. You can't just copy and paste the one above. Change the capitalization. Make it look like you wrote it yourself. You got no idea. All right, well, that is going to be removed for the edited version. So for those that are still playing at home, I'll play it one more time, and then we can move on.
You want me to make my own rules? Rule number 1. You're going to spend the rest of your goddamn life in fucking agony.
All right, if you think you know what that sound is, you know what to do. Moving on.
Moving on to some news items. We've got a few things to chat about this week, which I think is actually pretty cool. So let's get into it. A bit of toxicity, psychological evaluation has been done of gamers with some random. Let's go with some random outcomes. So this comes from an article by Hypebeast. New study shows Xbox gamers are more toxic than PlayStation users. That's what this thing's titled as, but I don't care about that because I want to see what other things are going on. So I've gone directly to the survey site and actually had a look at the survey itself and what some of the outcomes were. So, boys, we all had a quick look at this earlier on.
Yeah,
and had a bit of an idea of how it was all broken down, and we all know we play games online. We've all been exposed to it. Hell, in some form or another, especially towards verbal aggression. It's I don't think I've ever actually pointed it at someone, but I've definitely had anger or verbal aggression online playing a game. Hell, I did it last night. But
that's the thing, because we very rarely use game chat. So if we're raging at someone, they can't hear us. We're in a private party.
No.
It's us carrying
and that's half the thing. We don't. Yeah. We don't really aim it at anyone. It's just a spur of the moment frustration. So this has been carried out where approximately 1,000 gamers have been given a Bus Perry aggression questionnaire, which is actually a professional questionnaire that's administered by psychologists. And they mapped it out into 4 levels. So physical aggression, verbal aggression, straight up anger, and hostility, which they kind of all work under the same thing, but there's little varying differences. Top of the list, of course, Battlefield, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. High speed, high tension, very competitive games. Of course, they're going to have that level of emotional response. Then, of course, FIFA, which is, again, FIFA seems to be a bit of a weird one, I think, because I'm not involved in it. Do you boys get into the FIFA stuff at all? Or have you in the past? Yeah,
I love FIFA. I'm actually really keen for the next one because I haven't played a FIFA in a very long time. But yeah, I would put I would probably say physical aggression for me with that one. I think I've broken some controllers, cracked them at least playing FIFA.
Oh, okay, cool. This is the one that I do not get. So 4th on this list. So this list goes from most people that have these outbursts down to the least outburst for these types of games. 4th on the list is Animal Crossing.
Tom Nook's a cunt. I'm just saying right now.
It's all based with Tom Nook, is it?
Yeah.
You both have played Animal Crossing. Where does the aggression come from?
The player.
The player.
Can other people come onto your island and take things from you?
No.
Or okay, so there's
can't steal someone's tree.
No,
because Nintendo's generally a pretty troll-free place online because there's no voice chat. There's very little. You can have you can invite people to come and see you, but people can't just turn up and do things like that, can they?
No. So if you came and visited my island, your tools won't work. You are not allowed to use your tools. So you can't cut down my trees. You can't pull up my plants. You can't take or move statues or fences. You can't do anything like that. You can shake my trees and take the fruit off it. Okay, but that grows back. Big deal. But yeah, there is very strict rules. You can get around that by making somebody a close friend. You can allow them to do certain things, but they still can't grief you though.
But you have to be online too at the same stage, don't you? Someone can't just rock up. Can they join you if you're offline?
No, you've got to open your gates, okay, and then they've got to. I don't know. I don't actually think you can go to random people's. I think you have to have an invitation or at least be on friend lists. I don't think you can just randomly do it. But the only thing that I could possibly think that could cause aggression, and this would predominantly be the fault of the player, but a lot of Animal Crossing is RNG. All right, so if you wanted to get a certain thing, you might pay $2,000 for a Nook Miles ticket, and then you fly to a random island. It's a random CG, like generated island. It's not somebody else's island.
Okay, yeah.
It's an island that doesn't really exist, and you'll fly there. And if you go there and it's not the one you wanted, or it doesn't have the things on it that you wanted, and you've been trying all day to get it, I could imagine frustration building up. But that's your fault. I mean, if that's frustrating you, turn the thing off and, maybe play something else or don't play anything, because if you're getting angry at Animal Crossing, I don't think there's anything else more passive that you could possibly play to keep yourself calm. You need Jesus.
I think the other there's another element that really is like left out of this conversation, is that there are actually people that enjoy, and they're sick individuals. Some of them are friends of mine. They enjoy the frustration that comes with grinds. Yes. Like they're masochistic. Like it frustrates the living hell out of them. They rage quit games, but like the very next day they'll be back to doing the exact same thing, getting just as frustrated. They can't help themselves. It's part of the experience, and they embrace it. Just like, there are people like scary games. It doesn't compute for me. I don't know why someone would go out and intentionally scare themselves. But in this instance, there are people that go out of their way to intentionally frustrate themselves. And those things, all those hostility markers, will be measured as those things. They're not necessarily a negative thing. They're just a thing. So yeah, I think that's one level.
Well, for Animal Crossing, and Animal Crossing seemed to be about, everything was fairly close in regards to raging and whatnot. Physical aggression is actually, causing harm to something, whether it be, your actual gear, controllers, something like that.
Joy-Cons flying.
Yeah, so Joy-Cons flying, and, roughly 53% of, that was kind of the average. The average number of people who said that, that's kind of how we've worked this thing out. So about half of the people have actually said, they've caused this. Verbal aggression, so people swearing and carrying on, is up at 59. So it's quite amusing to see. The next one down is Grand Theft Auto. Now, Grand Theft Auto Online, and this is the one that this actually does. Verbal aggression is up. It's closer to the top at 60. Let's call it 62% of stuff. So there's a lot of people getting angry on that. Minecraft's another one that I'm guessing I've seen a lot of people do like the Battle Royale stuff with Minecraft. I'm assuming that's where a lot of this comes from.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably more the PvP stuff, or people playing on like public realms as well.
PvP servers,
yeah, places where other people can grief them. You can grief people and all sorts of things. Yeah. So, but once again, you're choosing to be in that space, so you accept part of that.
This study though is absolutely just terrible. I don't think it's been done to any measure that makes any sense, because the first thing that you said before, it was about Xbox gamers being more violent or aggressive or whatever than PlayStation gamers. I think that is the most ridiculous notion to say, because it just can't be true. It doesn't make sense, because Xbox gamers are no different to PlayStation gamers. They're all assholes. It doesn't. But
if you look at the stats, they're like within 2 or 3% of each other in each category. Yeah, so it's literally marginally, they're almost identical.
The only way for one to be more aggressive than the other is if the lion's share of people were on one rather than the other. That would be the only thing that I would accept as a reasonable outcome. There's more people playing on this one, so there's more assholes. That's the only reasonable outcome, because I can't believe that Xbox or PlayStation, one or the other, would be more attractive to being an arsehole. It's not. It doesn't work like that. I think Mardigan's made a good point as well. The split possibly might be less abusive on PlayStation, because PlayStation have a lot more single-player games.
Single player.
that are big and up there and popular. So there's a lot more people just playing on their own, so they wouldn't come across toxic towards other people. Whereas on Xbox, there are a lot more multiplayer games that people are playing together, and the toxicity levels would be higher for that reason. But then another thing that I would like to point out, which is glaringly obvious, is the ridiculous placing of Animal Crossing. This is more physically aggressive. Like, the players of Animal Crossing are more physically aggressive than players of Grand Theft Auto Online. That just sounds like the most ridiculous thing. They've surveyed 1,000 people, and I don't know where these 1,000 people come from, because these 1,000 people... No, I mean, like, yeah,
the test was
demographic. Their demographic, like, is this random people, or have they gone into a uni and just grabbed these people? The differences in this scale, everything is almost exactly the same within 0.2. Like, it's ridiculous. This is the dumbest. This shows nothing.
Yep.
This shouldn't have even been published. It is so pathetic. It is a stupid representation of gamers, and I think this draws no conclusion other than the fact that the people running this have fucking no idea what gamers are like and what causes people to behave the way they are. Professional psychologists were involved in this.
Look, calm it down. We're not playing Animal Crossing, mate. It's all right.
Put me down for a fucking 5 on that one.
But once again, it just goes to show that, statistics can show whatever it is you want to show. Like, you can always skew a statistic to prove your point.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This is probably one of the dumbest I've ever seen, though.
Yeah, no, it is straight up.
This is brilliant. And the fact that it has Francis up the top up the top in the header that they've got on there, they've and one of the pictures is actually Francis, which is one of Boogie's ex-alter egos that is just a rager. So so it's just it kind of just sort of one of the things that I found it when I found this detail, I fell for the Xbox versus PlayStation thing, where I've sort of looked at it and gone, oh freaking hell. Because when I looked at the news, this come up as a top news story. So without having to go into any specific particular sites on Google, it was a top highlighted news story. So this is the sort of shit that's getting out there. That's the first thing that people see. So I've seen that and automatically gone, oh, all right, let's see what they go. Let's see what they do. And then I started reading through it and just realised it's bullshit. I had a look at this breakdown and just laughed at it. And went, okay, we've got to have a chat about this because this is just funny. One thing I want to know, Radicus, this was done, being that you're our resident repatriated. Well, he's our resident POM. So pick the top 3 UK cities that are the angriest, apparently, when it comes to game. So this will give you, so there's the top 3 cities where people come from. Where do you think that would? Yeah, thanks. All right. Okay. Tell us where you think they would have come from. But so other games that are on there, of course, Fortnite, Smash Brothers, Pokemon is another one I don't get. The Sims, like it doesn't make sense. A lot of this stuff, like it doesn't work in my head. These games and how they can be classified as being, angry, I suppose. So we've got Liverpool, Manchester. Come on, Radicus, pick one more.
Luton.
He's from Luton. Top 3 is London. Again, it's got the most
population.
Population. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Newcastle. Isn't that the second biggest? Glasgow. No, that's actually further down the list than I thought it would have been. So the top 3 are Liverpool, London, Newcastle, and Liverpool.
Glasgow are too busy going to football to punch each other.
All right, so that's that bit. Luke, earlier this month, people started talking about consoles and how consoles were getting very close to PC in regards to their power and their ability. And then Nvidia come along and went,
hold my beer.
I'm having none of that.
I'll have none of that. So, of course, this week, is it the 30 series or the 3000 series? What are you...
30 series.
Okay, so 30 series.
I think either or is still correct, but I think the general consensus is the 30 series.
Okay. All right, mate. Well, you're the tech guy with all this sort of stuff, so give us a bit of a rundown on your thoughts. I still haven't watched the whole thing because as much research as I've done into PCs and whatnot recently and increased my knowledge, a lot of that still goes over my head.
Okay, well, yeah. So we did get the announcement for the Nvidia Ampere GPUs, which is the new architecture for their graphics cards, and it is the 30 series. We got an official announcement now. There was a ton leaked. A lot of it was pretty accurate, actually. But the official announcement gave us the 3070, which claims to have more power than the RTX 2080 Ti, which is the current flagship card. But it's only going to be $809 and available from October 2020. Now, I do want to stipulate that these prices that I'm giving you are the Founders Editions. Okay, so they're the Nvidia cards that aren't going to be available in Australia. So we can probably expect to pay more than $809 for a 3070 because the partner cards will come through, and by partner cards I'm talking about like Asus, Gigabyte, MSI, EVGA, all of those kind of guys that make their cards. They're going to add their RGB, they're going to add their little LCD screens and all that sort of business and bump up the price. That's how they make profit from these things, okay? But anyway, that's was the 3070, which is going to be their sort of go-to card for a lot of people. But then they also announced the RTX 3080, which has up to 2 times the power of the RTX 2080. All right, and that's going to be $1,139. These are Australian prices that I am quoting, so it'll be a little bit different depending on where you are from in the world. And that'll be available from the 17th of September 2020. Now, I also would like to mention on top of that, these release dates wouldn't be holding your breath for too long in Australia.
So these are Australian prices for the Founders Editions that aren't coming to Australia?
Yes, correct. I don't know why they put Australian prices. This is on the Nvidia website, on the Australian store, like the Australian portion of the website. They have prices even though they have confirmed that they're not even releasing it in Australia. So I don't know why they did that, unless it was a late choice to not release Founders Editions here, because they did do Founders Editions for the 20 series. It probably is a Corona issue where they're limiting it and not allowing them to be sold here. So we have to get the partner cards, which I'm happy with because I didn't like the mini 12-pin connector, which means that we have to use the bundled power connector, like the adapter. That sounds terrible for me, considering I've just put in some cable mods which make it look all pretty and then look crap with an adapter. 810's in the chat saying overseas buy and ship. Nah, well, I don't think I'd bother with that. I don't really want to buy something worth more than $1,000 overseas and have it shipped. But anyway, then we also got information on the RTX 3090 series, which is basically in a class of its own, and it has 24 gigabytes of VRAM, all that sort of fancy business. It's $2,429 Australian, available on the 24th of September. Now, for me, initially my reaction was, I got to get a 3090. But then when I looked at it, really, that's really overkill. I don't need 24 gigabytes of VRAM for a video game. You put it really well, Snoogs, by saying that's for making games.
Yeah, not for playing them. It's for making them.
Playing them. So for less than half the price, I'll go the 3080. The 3080 thing. Now these things are leaps and bounds from the last generation, and I'm from the generation before. I'm still running a 1080 Ti. And so the jump for me is going to be massive going to a 3080, and the price is right. Even if the price is $300-$400 more than what they've advertised, paying $1,500 for a card that is twice as capable as a card that I would be buying right now. If I wanted to get it right now, I'd be paying $1,000 more to get a 2080 Ti, and yet the 3080 is more capable than that. It's twice as good as a 2080, just the standard 2080. So the Nvidia have come out and smashed it. Unfortunately, they have pissed off all the people that bought 2080 cards or the 20 series cards, because now you can get for the same price, if not less, a card that's twice as good. But then again, people like myself that hung on to their 10 series, you're going to get a massive upgrade for a really good price. So it was a good move to skip the 20 series. Happy. I'm very happy. Very excited.
My 20 series is okay.
Sorry, Snoogs.
Kind of okay.
No. I'm in the boat that I don't think that I would have paid $1,500 for a graphics card on its own. Like, that's where it sort of is. Even at the graphics card that I got was a last minute change to that version because it was on sale. So it's mate, I've been watching the prices of the 2080 Ti's come crashing down at certain places, and certain versions of them people have wiped $800 off them overnight, and starting to get rid of them. But be good to see some of these other cards. There was one you were saying that had LCD screens put in it that shows temperature and whatnot.
Yeah, the gigabyte card.
Yeah.
That'll be expensive.
That'll be expensive, but just why? Because I can.
Well, yeah, but that's normally me, but I won't even be doing that. I'll be getting myself a bog stock 3080.
Next bit of news. You boys ever heard of the Konami Code?
Yes, of course. Up, down, left, right, BA or something.
Yes. BA start. A bit of a gaming fan bought their kid a Fisher-Price toy.
All right.
Now, this Fisher-Price toy looks like a controller. Looks like a video game controller. So it's just they've got it. It's designed to hand-eye coordination and a bit of learning as well. So it's typical Fisher-Price stuff. You push buttons, makes noises, colours, tells you A, B, C, and all this sort of stuff. The person has then gone and thought, hey, we'll give this a crack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and put this into the chat that we're listening to live as soon as I can find the link. There we go. Now, Luke, if you could go to that, scroll down a little way, and there's a video.
I have one of these
for Twitter. Can you play? It's about 40 seconds long.
I can. Just stand by.
I literally have one of these.
This guy tries the Konami Code out on this machine, and you've got to hear what it actually does.
Okay. All right, I'll play that now.
So here is a new Fisher-Price video game controller thing for the kiddies, which I got for my daughter. It's got the usual things. You press buttons and it says stuff. And then it says numbers and colours and stuff.
Very good to hear now.
I'm about to.
But amazingly, if you put in the Konami code, so it's up, down, left, right, BA, you beat the game. Awesome.
That's great.
Oh, wow.
How is that for a nice little Easter egg?
That is pretty cool. Well, was that Stewie from Twitter?
It might have been Stewie.
So can I, as cool as that was, can I just burst the bubble a little bit here?
Okay.
Sure.
I can tell you right now that I've heard that you've win many times by my kids mashing the shit out of the buttons.
maybe your kids know the Konami Code.
Or maybe my kids just know the Konami Code. But I can tell you right now, if you mash enough buttons, it'll eventually just go, you win. So
yeah, but apparently that's a Mario Brothers power-up sound.
Yeah,
followed by you win.
It sounds like a coin thing. Yeah.
I can go get it and smash buttons if you like.
Well, that's your homework for the week, Greg. Go and put the Konami Code into it.
Oh, I will. I'll even try the Raging Demon just to see how that goes as well.
$10. $10 it's Greg's and it's not his kids.
Yeah, totally.
Because seriously, your kids would be too advanced for that. I reckon your kids are closer to cracking the Da Vinci Code rather than the Konami Code.
Well, they very quickly escalated from that to a actual Xbox controller. So, yeah, it was a decoy at best.
All right. Next bit of news. Video games help children improve literacy, communication, and mental well-being. Another survey has been done. Now, this is something that I think all three of us know because we use video gaming as an outlet for our own mental well-being, and as a bit of a switch off from the day-to-day and having a bit of fun. So now they've actually started to involve children in more of these researches and studies to actually find it. So they've found that more than a third of the children who play said they believe video games make them better readers, with so around 80% saying that read materials relating to gaming at least once a month. So they're at least reading and getting done. About 60% of kids saying that they will actually go and write something in regards to the gaming that they're doing. And they've also been finding when talking to their teachers in school, they're actually being a lot more social and building up those social relationships a lot quicker and a lot easier. And kids that they're finding would normally have those markers of being introverted. When they've introduced gaming, they seem to be a little bit more social and being able to interact with others around them. So what do you boys think?
Well, I've always thought that gaming definitely has a place in helping kids learn. Obviously, that needs to be the right things for the right ages. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I think it's good.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, no,
little ones.
Well, I thoroughly agree with a lot of the statements that were just made. Like, I know that my oldest is an introvert at heart. But I also know that a lot of the ways that he socializes and makes friends is talking about things like Minecraft and other kids that are playing those things. When he's doing his creative writing for school, there's definitely a Minecraft theme that pops out a lot in the creative writing, but it's still him while he's using characters that he knows and loves. There's still his stories. He's still being very imaginative. It's very helpful. And Forza, for example, he knows his level numbers. It's a good way to get them to learn how to learn, especially at higher level numbers. And yeah, look, reading names. He knows gamer tags, so if I'm racing against either Luke or Snoogs or any other people that he knows, he can read your names and he recognizes who they are, recognizes himself, his drivatar. So yeah, no, I agree. Even just on that level, I mean, we also use it for slightly higher educational purposes. Like we use the iPad for things like reading eggs and fast phonics and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. While more heavily educational, still games. So
yes,
yeah.
That's one thing that I've noticed. Mine, my two, they predominantly play Minecraft. Is probably their game of choice. My eldest is starting to branch out in a few other things, but one of the big things that they're starting to use games for, and robot building as well, which is another sort of, they've got to play a game with this actual robot that they can pick up and hold, doing words, maths, all this sort of stuff on an iPad of an afternoon, and they're playing, or they're trying to beat other kids in their class, and just sort of doing a little bit of a friendly social sort of competition. She can go, and she talks about it, or they both do. They talk about what their friends are doing, how they're going about it. Oh, I've got to try and do that better so that I can get in front of so and so. It's something that I really like to see happen and see them getting involved in it. So anyone that's listening, if you're a parent, let us know your thoughts. Love to hear it all.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. The resilience building as well is also, I really enjoy about games, because we currently live in a society where you get participation trophies and everyone's a winner. Computer games don't treat you that way. You're either good at them and you win, or you don't. And learning resilience that you can't always win is the only way I get to teach my son that these days. So yeah.
Cool. All right, Luke. Twitch is apparently upping their game. I'm in the dark on this one. I didn't see this coming.
Oh, something new to you. All right, we'll have a listen to this. This was a report that was on kotaku.com.au. Now, Nvidia. There's another one on Nvidia. They're doing a fair bit at the moment, kicking ass. They've announced that they're working on an integration of a new video format called AV1. And they said, we are working with Twitch on the next generation of game streaming. AV1 will enable Twitch viewers to watch at up to 1440p, 120 frames per second, at 8 megabits per second, which is a feasible bitrate that can reach most home broadband and 5G users. Now, I would dare say that anybody on the NBN is looking at 8 megabits per second easy, comfortably. Even some ADSL2 people will get 8 megabits per second without too much trouble. Twitch at the moment, currently the maximum is 1080p and 60 frames a second. They're looking at upping it with this AV1 format to 1440p and 120 frames per second, which I think is really cool. This is going to make streams look a lot better, and it's also going to make people like Sony look even more ridiculous when they still stream at 30 frames per second for their announcements.
Yeah. Sweet.
But yeah, I think that's really cool. A new video format, which means that we're going to be able to watch streams in a lot higher quality, nice high frame rates. I think it's good. You know, not everyone's going to be able to stream that kind of content, but at least you can view that kind of stuff. It's just getting better and better. And at 8 megabits, that's pretty low. I'm impressed by that. That's cool.
That's pretty standard across the board. Martikins is out, so thanks for hanging around, mate. I'll catch you soon.
Bye, Martikins.
All right, last bit of news. The Witcher 3 is getting ported to PS5 and Xbox Series X. So game from 2015 is getting a port across onto new hardware with the upgrades and everything that comes with it. And apparently it's going to be free for those that have it already.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. And besides, I give them a leave pass bringing across to a new generation because they're at least working on a new game. Unlike Grand Theft Auto. Well, Grand Theft Auto, yes. They probably are working on a new game, but at least we know about Cyberpunk.
Yes. So that's only come out in the last day or so, that information, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so CD Projekt Red has actually come out and said that, yep, if you've got it, it'll come across onto the next gen, and there'll be versions obviously to buy if you don't have it on next gen.
Yeah, so for those people playing it on PlayStation 5, you'll be able to experience it similarly to how I experienced it earlier on already.
On PC.
Yeah.
Well, let's into some last words. Okay, Martikins, like I said, just left. Thanks for hanging around. And to everyone else still in the chat, A10, Kaza, Radika, Skrill, The Wraith, Star Wars, and Triss. And you know what? We've been a bit rough on Az. She did drop in for a little while. What's going on here? Her ears must have been burning, but she's left again.
Yeah, so I don't think we've been... No, not being rough enough, I say.
Not being rough enough?
God. She does like it rough.
Comes in because she's got FOMO, realises it's just the same old boring podcast and fucks off. Oh, it's these guys again. Fuck, hell, man.
Oh, these guys are still here. Right. Last words. I've got 2 bits of last words. If you got anything, Luke?
Yes.
Apart from what you sent me today?
Yes, I do.
All right. What do you got?
JBL have just released a new line of gaming headsets. They're available from today, I believe it was, or possibly tomorrow, because I had an embargo for the headphones that I've got. But that embargo lifted at 6 p.m, which is a couple of hours ago now. And I have a review up on YouTube, and you can go and check it out. What it is the JBL Quantum 600. They are a brand new line of gaming headsets, and I've used it for the last weekend. And they're pretty good, worth checking out. I think these things, while probably it's because the 600 that I've reviewed isn't their top of the range, it's kind of like their mid tier. I think they're about $230 Australian. Definitely worth it. They're very good. The audio, bloody brilliant. Microphone, good enough. But check out the review. I won't go on about it too long. Just wanted to bring it up. They've just released. They are exclusive to JB Hi-Fi, and they're out there now, I believe, or at least the embargo's up anyway. I don't actually know if they are available yet. Go work that out yourself. Go to the website, check it out. But there is a review, as I said, on our YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link in the description for this podcast if you want to check out these headphones and check out my review. It is a long one, but go and watch it for at least for a minute or two, just so I get a view. Put a comment down. Hit the like button. Do your thing. Assist a friend or whatever. And then if you buy them, make sure you put a comment on there to make me look good. Thanks. All right, that's all I have to say.
Any last words from yourself, Greg?
No, be good to each other.
Be good to each other. Sweet. All right. A rumour that came out this afternoon, Gearbox is doing a digital showcase during PAX Online, which is later this week. Mm-hmm. And apparently there's a bit of a rumour going around, which kind of got a bit of traction on Twitter this afternoon, with Pez2K tweeting out that he was looking for Borderlands content creators. And there's a whole lot of rumours floating around that either a new Borderlands game or an update to Borderlands 3, whether it be new DLC or
that'd
something.
More likely be expansions. The game's too new. They don't have another one.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be an expansion.
Yeah.
So by the time this goes out, we should know a bit more and keep a lookout and see what's out there. And the last bit of last words, I saw this today and I couldn't believe it. Skyrim is running on something else.
Oh, I did. I know what you were going to say. I saw that too.
You do? You saw it as well? Mm-hmm. Someone got Skyrim running on a digital pregnancy test.
Oh, they also did Doom as well.
Oh, did they? I only saw the Skyrim one.
Yeah, they did Skyrim. They did Doom, and apparently you need to finish Doom in 30 minutes or less to get your result from whether you're pregnant or not.
To get your results. So the little LCD screen, it actually comes up, and it the bit that I saw was the opening for Skyrim when you wake up on the back of the wagon. I just thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. I saw it. It took a while to realise what game was playing because I think the pixel count was about 38 by 40. But yes. you eventually do see it and you're like, oh, God.
See what it is, yeah. It is, oh, God. Here it is again. All right, well, a couple of shout-outs. Gamers TV and Snooger Vision over on Twitch, and, of course, Grejio XBL on Instagram. Luke, you were saying something before I cut you off?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout-out to Stewie, our good friend Stewie from Twitter, who's over in Scotland. I just want to give him a shout-out. I don't think we've done this before, but this guy listens to every show every week. He also likes the podcast on Podbean, as well as often comments as well on YouTube on our podcast video. So he likes it every week, so I know he's checking it out. And I just wanted to say shout out to Stewie. He's a good Twitter mate, and he's worth following. Stewie is that kind of guy that's just your nice guy. He's just a really nice guy. He's got quite a few followers. He's got 8,783 followers for good reason. His Twitter handle is @Stewie55UK. That's STEWIE. Go and check out his. He's very into his retro gaming. He puts up videos of his pickups and that, and you'll just see he's just a nice guy. You can't help but love the bloke. So just a shout out to Stewie. He's a good guy. Thanks for listening, buddy.
All right. Well, let's close out the show, shall we, boys?
Let's do it.
Thank you very much to everyone who's listened to the show, and especially those that are still listening this far along. Don't forget to continue any of the topics we've discussed on this show over in our Discord channel, or hit us up via our socials. While you're at it, don't forget to hit up our website, www.theagexp.com. Links, as always, are in the podcast show notes and descriptions. That's all from me. As always, I've been Snoogs.
I've been Lucas.
And I have been Grejio.
See us.
Bye-bye, dude. Ooh, once again, we have reached the end of another week in gaming, and if you've listened all the way up until this point of the show, then there's a good chance that you're a perfect fit for the Age XP Discord channel, and you can join by using the links in the show description. Once you've joined, you will find yourself within a community of amazing people who are all interested in one thing, and that's gaming. You can also join in live while we record the show and have your say. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you'll be notified when the next episode is available for your listening pleasure. Until next time, take care, be safe, and keep on gaming.